Hi, my name is Christoph. I joined Zalando 7 years ago, so as one of the first employees, was in charge of putting up the technology department. My focus is more product development, and Zalando has now become the biggest fashion retailer in Europe, and selling clothes, apparel, shoes to customers all over Europe in 15 markets. So it's pretty important to make the decision if you make or buy, basically, and especially in the beginning. So when we started with Zalando, we didn't really have a clue of how to build an online shop or how to build the back office systems or even how to build logistics software. That was all new to us. So what we always did was to look out for systems and partners and providers who were already there, had experience, so that we can partner up with them and also learn how to do the processes, how to use these technologies. At some point of time, we just outgrew most of these partners, so we became, the fastest growing company in Europe. So we had to make a decision: is this a core business? Is this a part of our core platform we want to own and we want to really have an influence on the customer experience? And for most of the parts, we then decided, okay, that is core, that has to be core. So we decided, okay, we have to build it on our own, but only when we knew how to do that, how it really works, and after we understood. So we started with external software in most of the cases, and at some point we decided, okay, to take over and implement it on our own. And there were three main reasons to do that. The first is that at some point the development of the provider was slower than ours. So they release only every 6 months or maybe only once a year, but we need to be faster. We release every week. We release also some parts of platform daily, so it has to be important that we have the pace also in new development. The second thing is that it comes to also the feature richness. So usually an external provider builds something for multiple customers, so you can only use maybe part of that, so something like 20-30%, and still you need your own specifics like the additional 20% anyway. So there is a huge trade-off: what can you use and what do you additionally need anyway in order to have an external system in-house. And the third part is really about growth and the technical limitations. And as we grow so fast, we had a couple of experience where we just outgrew our partners in terms of performance and number of transactions, so that we just had to build something on our own in order to keep up with our pace. So these were the three main reasons why we then often switch to our own solutions. The biggest challenges in terms of scaling, I would say, they start with the team, with the company. With the people they work in the company. So for example, if you have maybe a startup of 20-30 people, you can still gather together once a week. You have maybe a breakfast just to keep up the team spirit and the communication. But as soon as we grow to more than 100, 200 people, just because the office space is not big enough, you can gather all the people together, and you just simple things like a team meeting, like an all hands, that they get much more complicated. And these were the learnings we had to learn the hard way, that sometimes you just lose track of what's really important in terms of team communication, in terms of transparency. And I would say we really missed for 1 or 2 years to be very open and transparent to the people, because we said, you can do that maybe the next quarter. Now we don't have the time or we don't have the space, we'll find another way. But then you get the feedback out of the team, from the team leads, from just the people you talk to, that they're missing the bigger picture. And that's something we had to reintroduce with a lot of power to make it transparent to employees what our goals, what our vision is, where we're currently standing. So that's very important. And on the other hand, it's also about, of course, the challenges in terms of technically. When you go that fast, you have to look out for the right systems, for the right partners to work with. And one learning for us was also to not be the biggest customer of one of your providers. It sounds maybe a little bit strange, but if you just think of that, you're already the biggest customer, for example, of a provider of a certain use case you have to use in your system. It means that if you're growing fast, they have to grow at the same pace. But if you do that at the same time, you will struggle in the same way when they come to your hurdle or if they come to your limitation, and that's where you have to watch out. So you have to look for the right partners and try to avoid to basically be the biggest one, and rather look for experienced partners, or in the end you have to build it on your own if you see there's nobody out there who can build a system who fits your needs. Of course, we lose a lot of data at Zalando, and but we rather like to see it as smart data instead of just big data. So it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality you have. And we use it on multiple purposes. So, for example, to make processes much more efficient. If we know we build our own logistics software, which is running in our warehouses, and we're shipping thousands and tens of thousands of items every day. So you have to be efficient, and you can optimize a lot in terms of, for example, how the people are walking through the warehouse in order to pick the right items. So there you can optimize a lot. But also on the other hand, we want to be relevant for the customers. So we don't want to show them products or offerings which are not relevant for the individual. So we want to give a personalized experience to every customer. So that's why we take our knowledge about what kind of products fit together, what kind of products fit to your customer need, and to make it personal to you as a single customer, to really see, okay, what have you bought, what have you seen, to give you the perfect experience, and across all devices. So that's where we really use our data to make it smart and build the best customer experience in the end. So it's really about building something for the customer, and of course to also be efficient in a way in order how to do that. We already see that Zalando overall has more than 50% already mobile shares in terms of traffic, and it's growing much faster than the web traffic. So that's clearly a case. E-commerce for us is, in the end, it's a connection, and maybe you could even strike the E in that, because it's about fashion and people what we want to solve. So it can be online, but it can also be offline, where we want to connect everything what is there. And the mobile use cases which are really important are not only the ones where we now transfer just the website onto the mobile phone, but rather what happens if you are on a mobile. So for example, location is very important. As a customer, if you use your mobile phone, you can now tell a third party, for example, a solution like Zalando platform, where you are, and maybe you have a specific need around you. You want to see, okay, what kind of fashion is around me? What do I need? What is cool in my zip code? Yeah, what kind of fashion items are bought nearby, and what's here the latest trends in here? And I want to keep up with the trend. And these are the problems you couldn't solve before, and now suddenly you can solve this. So that's why mobile is huge for us, and we even have departments where 2015 for us is clearly the mobile first year, and we already started before that, but now we're really directing the whole company towards that, and we even have departments where we say mobile only. So where we even say, okay, website doesn't make sense anymore for this specific use case, because we say, okay, it's clearly a pure mobile use case, like local advertising, local experience in terms of where is the inventory, where's the fashion item nearby, and to really give this customer experience back to the customer. Loyalty is the most important thing for a company these days, even more in the online days than before. That's why for Zalando the most important KPI is the Net Promoter Score, performance indicator who measures the customer satisfaction. And for us it's always about the long-term relationship we want to build with the customer. So that's why we steer after this performance indicator and make it transparent to all departments, to all teams within Zalando. And in order to help to grow that number and to make our customers more satisfied, we have a lot of opportunities to do that. And for us, it's really to be on top of mind with the customer. I think the biggest advantage of Zalando is that we understood how diverse the European market is, and that we are a player who can also help other, for example, brands or other partners and corporations to solve this issue of entering the European market together with Zalando. So that's why, for example, we offer different payment methods in each country. We have in every country we are in, we're working with a local delivery provider. So we don't have, let's say, a pure international shipment, but we, for example, direct inject into France to really into the local post to have a local experience for the customers. And we, as said, with the payment methods, we use local payment methods just like P24 in Poland to really understand the market. In terms of advertisement, it's also something we learned that we try to reuse as much as possible in the way where we see, okay, that's a very similar behavior for customers, but we also use very local, for example, local campaigns. We use local testimonials in order to drive business, to see the differences in the markets. But other things work very similar, so we can reuse the same TV spots, for example, in a way, or we just edit them a little bit in the markets. For other markets, we use completely different ones, and that's how we see it. In terms of online marketing, we can be very specific. Yeah, that's the easiest part. You can go to local keywords. We have local teams in Berlin where we work, so we have everything centralized in a way that all the markets teams sit together on a round table. But there we have also the local natives who work for the Polish market, who work for the Finnish market, and we have these e-commerce experts sitting together and think about the local strategy to work on solving also just get into the market locally. But it's a mixture of making use of what we have as a central base, but then to cascade it down to the local market.